I am so excited about this week's special guest, the one, the only, Tracye McQuirter. Tracye, welcome to The Skeptical Vegan.
Thank you, Eric. It's great to be here.
Well, Tracye and I go back a number of years. We first made our connection when I was working on her website, but she didn't know at that point that I was already a fan of By Any Means Necessary, which is an incredible book. Tracye's website looks amazing. You just got to check it out. Go to byanymeansnecessary.com. And then, just recently, Tracye and her mom came out with The Ageless Vegan. Tell us about your new book, Tracye.
Ageless Vegan, that just came out in June, and I wrote that with my mom because we are celebrating 30 years of being a vegan.
That's amazing. This
year in 2018, and so I wanted to write this book to celebrate that and also to bring out my mom's voice. She's 82, she's fit and fabulous and active, and she went vegan in her 50s, so that's a voice that hasn't been heard too much, so I wanted to bring her in too.
Well, that's fantastic. I got an opportunity to finally meet Tracye's mom at the Animal Rights National Conference as both part of the book signing event, but also just being there and getting to see the two of you interact with so many vegans. What would you say, Tracye, is the one thing you would tell someone who's thinking about going vegan? Or what are some of the trepidations that you hear that you know you can overcome?
I would say, first of all, to recognize that you're already familiar with veganism. You already eat vegan food. You eat fruit, you eat vegetables, you eat grains, you eat nuts. You use herbs and spices and oils and flours on your food. So this is not foreign to you. And I know that might seem basic, but a lot of people really think that they are not eating vegan food, and they have an idea that they don't know what to eat. So really what you're doing is adding more vegan food to what you already eat and replacing meat and dairy. So start there and recognize that you've already been eating vegan food your entire life if you're an omnivore. And then the second thing that I would say is that it's going to take the time that it takes. It's not a race. It's not a competition. If you stop and you start, that's fine. I stopped and started for about a year before I finally was able to go 100% vegan. So your journey is your own, but just get started.
We'll be back right after this commercial break. This episode of The Skeptical Vegan brought to you by Cardamon's Coffee Company. Coffee for where you're at. Welcome back to The Skeptical Vegan, where we're talking to By Any Means Necessary's Tracye McQuirter. Tracye is the editor, producer, creator of the African American Vegan Starter Guide, which I happen to design. I'm not plugging myself here because you're the one that came up with this idea. It's such an important magazine, such an important periodical, such an important piece of literature that's handed out in what kind of volume now? Give me an idea of how this thing has exploded.
Thank you. Yeah, we did this. We started working on this about 2 years ago now, and since then we have an online version and we have a printed version. So the online version we started with 2 years ago has been downloaded tens of thousands of times. The first week we had 10,000 downloads, and so that continues. The printed guide came out a few months later, and we're at about 450,000 to 500,000 printed copies in circulation.
That's incredible. And it's such a focused audience, too. That's what's amazing about it, Tracye, is that you're an authority. The people that you have in the book, like Demetrius and Seba and Rain, all of these, like Milton Mills, all of these really important... It's incredible. You've pulled it all together and created this piece that's changing lives, right? For a group that perhaps their culture felt like it might have been a barrier into veganism.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you know, for me, as you know, Eric, I learned about veganism from Black folks 30 years ago who had been vegan since at least the 50s and 60s for a variety of reasons, some of which were their involvement in the civil rights movement, right? And the belief and practice of nonviolence that they extended to animals and for health, and seeing health as a social justice issue and wanting to be liberated from unhealthy food. So there are spiritual reasons for the environment. There are a variety of reasons and cultural reasons. You know, plant-based cuisine is actually traditional cuisine in most cuisines of the world. Maybe not plant exclusive, but definitely plant-based.
Yeah.
So this is a part of our culture, and it's definitely something that I've always known in the 30 years that I've been doing it, because that's how I learned it. And so what I wanted to do with the God, and I think that this may be one of the reasons that it resonates so much with people, is that I'm not coming from a place of lack or deficiency. I'm coming from a place of abundance and culture and history. So I don't talk about health disparities, which is a good topic to talk about. It's just not one that I focus on in the God. I say that there are already nearly 1.5 million Black vegans and vegetarians, and another 32% of Black folks who say that they eat vegan food on a regular basis.
That's fantastic.
And they eat out.
Yeah.
So come join us, and here's why. And so that perspective, and then talking about the history of it, talking about influencers, having experts who are lifelong vegans, who are chefs, who are pediatricians, who were, who are on food stamps, this huge variety of ways that we talk about it from multiple Black perspectives was needed. It's important. And so I think that that's why it's resonating with so many people. Yeah,
well, you're such an inspiration, and you're somebody who I'm so privileged to know, because Tracye, you and your mom and all of your efforts are that sort of next generation of change for people of color and for the entire movement. You know, you're creating such a wellspring and such a wave of opportunity. I love it. Would you like a cup of coffee?
Actually, I'll take some tea.
That's great, because I have a cup of tea ready for you.
Oh,
there you go. Earl Grey, is that good?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you very much.
So where else should people follow you on social media?
This is great. People can follow me at By Any Greens and By Any Greens Necessary. So at By Any Greens on Twitter and Instagram, and By Any Greens Necessary on Facebook.
Thank you so much for taking the time today. It's always a pleasure seeing you.
You too, Eric. Thank you so much for having me, and good luck with this program. It's fantastic.
Tracye McQuirter, everyone.